Welcome to Spoiler Alert. We appreciate everybody coming out, where we may or may not spoil your favorite topic, depending on when you're tuning in. So please listen at your own risk. Either way, here is a spoiler alert to start off your day. Good times and laughter is on the way. So don't forget to hit that follow button if you haven't done that already. Subscribe on Twitch. Make sure you follow us. We air our show every Monday at 8:30. Also follow us on YouTube and Twitter at Spoiler Alert for You. Again, that is at Spoiler Alert, the number 4 and the letter U. My name is Justin Time, and I'm your host. And spoiler alert, Time is not actually my last name, but it would be dope if it was.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Scante, not Scanty. Spoiler alert, we are going to get a little bit interactive with y'all today. So keep your sound turned on. When you get to my segment a little bit later, I'm going to be asking for some viewer input. We're going to play around with an AI a little bit. So stay tuned for that.
That's new news to me and Ryan, I think. So it was new news to me.
Yeah, you didn't run it by me, big dog. All right, bet.
Hey, man.
All right, my bad, y'all. My headphones cut out. So, Nick, you did your intro?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you good.
All right, cool, man. Well, you know who it is, man. It's your boy, Big Black. And, you know, I'm big and I'm black, man. And today I'm talking about some anime, baby. You know what I'm saying? Because one of my favorite animes coming back in July, and I'm super excited. But more on that to come. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for it.
All right.
It'll
Awesome.
be a show. Ryan didn't talk about anime or cars.
There you go.
You know what's up.
Oh, there you go. Seems like we're having technical difficulties all over the place. Ryan's headphones, my Discord. So it must be this new spring weather, because I swear my allergies are literally kicking my ass like every day. So,
Dog, you ain't even gotta talk about it.
I just went for a run, and the wind it just pumps all that pollen straight into my eyes. I literally come in and I take my kitchen sink. It's got one of the removable faucets on it, and I'm just like one of those eye washes, dude, straight on my face. Just
I don't go that far. I'm just like, go ahead, Ryan.
Why can I see Nick? Why can I see Nick doing that shit?
I'll do it in the shower.
Rubbing that nose is running. I'm like coughing and spitting. It's just gross, dude.
Was it worth
Not
it?
a good sight.
Was the run worth it?
I'll tell you on Saturday when I do that 10K.
Oh, that's right. You are doing a 10K on Saturday.
Oh,
Shout out.
that is. Yo.
Yeah. How long is a 10K actually? Like, how many miles is that?
6.4.
Oh,
No, 6.2. 6.2.
I expected it to be way more than that. I thought you were going to say like 50 or something. 10K just sounds like a lot, but.
No, but I do have the goal of doing a half marathon by the end of this year.
Okay. And how many miles is that?
13.
All right. Got it. If I could do like 1 mile, I would like feel accomplished. But I hate running.
You could do 1 mile.
Nah, bro.
You could do a mile,
No,
dog.
I almost died running a mile in freaking college, and I was in way better shape then than I am now. I had to do one for PE class, and literally, if it would not have been for one of my friends who pushed me like the last half mile across the way, I wouldn't have passed. It was very tragic. I bought like new running shoes. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be able to do this. I'm gonna kill it, bro. I failed. I actually did fail it the first time. I had to retake it, and my friend who passed it the first time retook it with me so he could make sure I passed. It was a struggle, bro. Like running outside is just not my thing. Yeah. I still talk to him actually. He's about to have a baby.
okay.
Actually, so his baby shower in a couple weeks. Yeah. No,
Y'all remember
not
back
the
in
same
like
guy.
elementary school when we'd like hit like pizza and chocolate milk and then just go outside for PE in like jeans and shit and just run nonstop, like miles nonstop?
Yep. I remember
Can you
running
imagine doing
miles.
that nowadays?
Absolutely not. I remember running miles
No.
in elementary school. They give you like the popsicle sticks to like signify like the lap, because like we had this track where you could do a lap and it was like a quarter of a mile, so they would give us 4 popsicle sticks to know that we had done a mile. I never got all 4. I think I got the most I got probably was like 2, maybe 3 before we had to go back inside. So yeah.
Did they not have a popsicle on the stick? Or it was
They
just
not.
the stick?
It was just
No,
a popsicle
popsicle
stick.
stick.
Just a popsicle stick. I know. Tragic.
Thanks.
All right, well, let's get into it. So, getting to our first topic, we're going to talk about some spoiled news. So, just sharing updates with everybody, seeing what's going on in the world. For me, Update, Fortnite Creative 2.0 has dropped. For those of you that are not familiar, it is basically Unreal Editor. It's a free application within the Fortnite software that essentially editors can use to create new games and experiences within Fortnite's creative mode. So think about like game modding, you know, where you hear about people who go into a game after it's been out for a little while and they may change something like, oh, people can run around with chainsaws or big heads or whatever you can think of. But think of game modding on steroids. And essentially with this, if you can think it, you can build it. That's pretty much what they're going for. It looks pretty freaking cool. I'm not going to lie. We're going to take an in-depth look at it in a later episode, but just kind of wanted to give an update that was out. There's already some video surfacing of some people doing some pretty cool things with this software. So I really, really can't wait to see what comes in the future because the sheer possibilities that people can create from this project, I think it's going to change the game as it relates to gaming. So really, really looking forward to seeing some of the stuff that they come out with for that.
Welcome to PC gaming, dog. Like, welcome to the 21st century. Like, we had this shit for
And I
20
knew you
years.
was gonna say that. Nick.
Of
I
course
knew
he
you was gonna
was.
say
Come on,
something
man.
like that.
Hey,
Like,
you
man,
know, us console players, we got to catch up. That's all it is.
Yeah.
you know how many times you said I need to get a gaming PC?
Mm-hmm. Because you do.
I got
Not
one
before
and
this shit.
don't ever play any video games on it.
I know.
Exactly.
I did. The biggest surprise of my life. I was like, I'm about to change. About to change Justin's life, dude. He's about to never touch his console again.
No.
Man played it like 3 times.
It's just the majority of people that I play with are on console, man. If you were able to move everybody over to PC, then I'd be on PC all the time. But you know, PS5 for life. So
Yeah, I'll just go fuck myself. All right.
yeah, there you go.
It's all good, bro. Play by yourself.
All right, Nick,
All
what
right,
you got for us?
I got 5 a.m. All right. Oh, it actually gives me an idea because you know that Counter-Strike started out as a mod for the first Half-Life game
I did not know
and
that.
is now its own. Yeah, now it's its own whole game. A lot of games actually started out as mods and turned into their whole thing. Maybe I'll do a deep dive on that
Okay.
sometime.
All right,
like fun.
sounds good.
But speaking of console games, I'm just gonna take another jab. Well, actually, this isn't a console game. This is on all platforms, but console gamers love it. Warzone. A new study or a poll came out on Twitter from an account called Modern Warzone. They ran a poll and they asked their followers, "Do you still play Warzone regularly?" 22% people said yes,
Not surprised. No
Not
surprise.
which
Surprised
means
at
that 80% of players have given up on Warzone or Warzone 2.
I'm in that 80%, sir.
Yep. No surprise. I'm in there.
I figured y'all wouldn't be surprised at all by that, but thought you'd find it funny. But speaking of funny stats, this one made me laugh too. There have been more deaths in Elden Ring than there are people on the Earth right now.
Okay. That's interesting. I mean, I believe it.
That's a hell of a stat.
It is a hell of a stat.
I'm a few of those.
I'm not. I
My 2
haven't
days
played
with the
Elden
Elden Ring was like contributing to that, and I was like, oh, I'm good.
Ring. You died a lot.
You didn't
nigga.
finish Elden Ring?
Bro, I didn't get past the first, like, I don't think he was a boss. He's literally
Like a first
just
mini boss.
they release you into the world, and it's the first group of enemies that you run into. I tried that shit for 2 hours, and I was like, I can't do this. I don't have the patience for this shit.
Got your
Hey, bro,
noggin
you got your
rocked,
ass
bro.
beat.
Dude,
level
rocked.
1 enemies.
Hey,
Fucking
he got his
rocked.
ass beat in the tutorial. They were
I
teaching
made
his
it through
ass
the
how to
tutorial.
play, bro.
I made it through the tutorial. First
I can't-
first group of enemies to run into. Nope.
I can't lie. That makes me think, Nick, what's that game? For Honor, that game with like the knights, like you fight with the knights and stuff. I couldn't make it past the tutorial, bro. Like the tutorial was kicking my ass, and I was like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this shit, and I put the game down. Like the tutorial was fucking difficult, and I was like, if it's this hard, yeah, like I couldn't get down the mechanics where you had to like counter multiple people at a time. It was so freaking difficult, and I was just like, you know what? I don't have the time or the patience for this. So I've been there, Nick. I've definitely been there.
Dude,
I
For Honor
can't
was
believe that. For Honor was awesome, bro. I played
For
it for
Honor
a
was
little
my
bit.
shit.
Never got past
Yeah.
the tutorial, bro. Never got past the tutorial. So
Oh man.
cool.
That
Any
was
more
one game
stats?
I was like actually pretty good at. I played the alpha, the closed beta, the open beta, and got the full game, and I was actually pretty good at that.
I was
Not gonna lie.
excited to play it, but like when I tried it, I was like, bro, like this is just not for me. I could not get the mechanics down. So
Yeah. Anyway, not to bring the mood down, there is a little bit of a sad fact. This is my last one for the news here. Apparently, Ash Ketchum's last ever Pokemon episode just aired in Japan.
Oh yeah, I heard about
1,200 episodes, 25 years, and the Ash Ketchum era is over.
Dude,
Still the
that's
same age.
insane if you think about it, man. 25 years. Like I remember when that shit first came out, like 1,200 episodes. Yeah, that's insane. And like you said, he's still the same age. Like he hasn't aged a
Same
day.
age.
Really?
Yeah, he's only
Yeah,
he's only ever
apparently.
won like one, maybe two like championships. Like he actually like he lost most of the time. So like my man didn't really accomplish much. I don't think he caught them all either. You know, the whole concept of the show. So Pokemon was failing quite a bit. I'm pretty sure he didn't catch them all.
Song.
Yeah, I know. He didn't do it. That's probably why they fired his ass. They're like, you know what?
Hey, big dog,
We've
this
given
ain't
you
your show.
25 years. Okay. This is it. Time for you to go do something else.
Give blind ass Brock a chance.
Yeah, right. His eyes were always closed. I
Always,
feel like
always,
it was very like I feel like that was like them being racist of like combining like Asians and like black people together. He had like black hair, but he had like the stereotypical like that's how they like draw Asians. So freaking ridiculous. Like you can see like but it was ridiculous, man.
No,
So,
he couldn't though.
Ash Ketchum. Wow. 25
RIP.
years, 1,200 episodes.
It's crazy, man. He I think in the episode he says bye to Gary and says bye to Misty. He goes back to see Professor Oak and he sees Gary, I think, and it's like, oh, and he defeats Team Rocket one last time, and I'm like, bro, how do y'all keep getting y'all's ass beat by a fucking 10-year-old?
Find
Like, I
a
don't
new
understand this
profession.
shit. Like, dog,
Crazy.
crazy.
That
Man.
fucking cat, dude. He's always fucking things up for him.
Meowth.
Meow. Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
Pokemon that can actually talk besides Mewtwo, which was a
Ex-
synthetic Pokemon, basically.
Exactly. Well, we could go down a bunch of tangents about Pokemon and Digimon because I think Digimon's better than Pokemon. But to each his own. Nick, we
Ooh, hot
appreciate
take.
you. Hot take. We appreciate you sharing those facts, big dog. Ryan, you're up, man. What's up?
Hey, man, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers has a reunion movie coming out.
Let's go.
Can you believe?
I'm
that?
so
Wow.
excited, bro. I'm so
I don't know, man. I
excited.
saw the trailer though, and I was actually excited. I'm not even gonna
How
hold
is it
you.
still going?
On
Nah, man,
Netflix,
it's-
bro.
On Netflix, bro. It's the OG, dog. They brought some people back and everything, man. I'm pretty
They're bringing
excited.
most of, I think most
Not
of
everybody.
the original cast. Yeah, not everybody, but like
Yeah.
most of the original, like two groups of Rangers that were essentially the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty excited about it. I can't wait for it to air. So
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Mine's pretty quick today, boys, but I'm not even gonna hold you. I was really excited when I saw that. My first Power Rangers that I actually like enjoyed was like SPD, Turbo, and Ninja Storm.
okay,
And then I remember the movie. I loved the movie. The actual original Power Rangers movie. I loved it.
yeah.
And then I actually went back to see Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like I remember watching it back in like middle school, like from start to finish, and fell in love with it.
I was about to say, Ryan, you said your first like the one that you enjoyed was SPD, and that was like way down the line. But then you
That
said
was way down the
Turbo.
line, I know.
Turbo
Yeah,
was
yeah.
one of the earlier ones. I remember the first movie I ever saw in theaters, my dad took me to was to see Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. So that was the first movie. It was my first time going to a movie theater, and absolutely fell in love with it, as you know, because we go to the movies all the time. It's something I love to do. But that movie will forever hold a special place in my heart, as well as the TV show. And I'm waiting for the TV show to officially end so they can like release the collector's edition of like all the episodes. But it's still going. Like they're on like season like 25 or 26 at this point for Power Rangers. So it is still a powerhouse, but I refuse to watch it now because it's all like crappy CGI. It's not what it used to be. But I'm excited for this movie because I think it's going to really, really bring back some
As if the
nostalgia.
original effects were like somehow great.
They were awesome, bro, for the 90s. You know what I'm saying? It was like the claymation and all of that stuff, dude.
Dog, they
I just
built
remember
cities
it was
in
always
PlayStation.
smoky.
Yeah.
It was like always fucking smoky in that show, like constantly.
Yeah. It is what it is. And sparks would always fly. Whenever somebody a Power Ranger got hit,
Oh,
it would
yeah.
always shoot out sparks. I had no idea why, but you know.
Because they couldn't show blood, bro. They couldn't show
Yeah, they
blood.
had to
Oh,
keep
you're
it.
right.
So
That
they
Yeah,
actually was
exactly.
the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
bro.
All right, cool. Good stuff. All right, let's check the chat. Nick, what we got going on?
Oh, we got a few people chiming in here. Travis and Bell talking about a 10K. Travis will be there with me doing that
Oh.
same race this weekend.
Okay.
So shout out to him and his wife. Despair says, we've got less than a month before Mercury's in retrograde. Not really sure what that was
Is that
in
an
reference to, but It's an astrology joke.
Oh.
It's supposed to be an excuse for bitches to act crazy.
Oh, that went completely over my head. Sorry.
Yeah. We got Lex in the chat. Welcome back, Lex. We've missed you. Haven't seen you in a couple of weeks.
Facts.
Despair says R.I.P. Green Ranger. I guess Green Ranger was the one that passed away.
Jason David Frank. Yeah, he passed away. Was it this year or last year?
Was he Tommy or was Tommy the Red Ranger?
No, he was. Tommy was the Green Ranger, the Red Ranger, the Black Ranger, the White Ranger. So he played multiple iterations of different Rangers. So
Elroy says Tommy was the best Power Ranger ever. It sounds like he was.
He actually, there's a movie coming out. He was working on Legend of the White Dragon, I believe it's called. That's like a Power Rangers movie that will be, I think, the last big project of his before his passing. So he's an OG, man. He has attended like all the cons, has remained like super committed to like the Power Rangers franchise, and of course everybody loves the Green and White Ranger from the original. So definitely R.I.P. to that man for sure.
Dang.
Yeah, for sure, dog.
Yep. Somebody said Jason Red. So actually, I'm a bit of a Power Ranger nerd. So just so you know, so Tommy, or Jason David Frank, he originally started out as a Green Ranger, right? He was evil. Then he became good. Then he lost his Green Ranger power. And then they gave him a new power, which he became the White Ranger. And then they moved into Power Ranger Zeo, which he actually became the Red Ranger for that. So he was the Red Ranger for quite some time. Zeo got upgraded into Turbo. He was the Red Ranger for Turbo for a very short period of time before passing the mantle over to my man TJ, the first ever Black Power Ranger, Red Ranger. That's why I will always forever remember him. And then Tommy did come back years later as the Black Ranger in Dino Thunder. So that is the story of Tommy and his many different colors in Power Rangers. So dude, I'm a Power Ranger super fan. I still I'm not gonna do it, but I can still sing like the first 11 theme songs of the franchise.
No, you gotta do it.
Absolutely not.
You gotta do it, big dog.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not today. Maybe some other time. But yeah, I'm a huge Power Rangers fan. I watched it up until probably about 3 or 4 years ago is when I stopped, but watched every season, every episode. I was a diehard Power Rangers fan for sure.
Holy fuck. I don't even know what to say to that.
I can only imagine Justin writing a book on Power Rangers.
Maybe
I can imagine him getting the big encyclopedia and having that shit on his mantle. I can see it though.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate that. All right. So we will move on to our next topic. Nick, you laughing at something, man? Something funny in the chat?
I'm laughing at Mr. Bell in the chat that says, PSA, Twitch does not warn you that your username will be your official name.
I feel like that's kind of common sense, but maybe not so common. So sorry about that. You might have to create a new account, sir. But we appreciate you being here nonetheless.
We appreciate you joining.
How did you get a hole in the wall?
What? Who?
The chat. Look at the chat.
Someone says that's how he got a hole in the wall.
Who, me? I have a hole in the wall?
You had a hole in the wall, I guess, back at your
According
house.
to Holt, F. Holt.
God, she's so embarrassing. Yes, so I guess I have to tell this story now. As a kid, I had a very active imagination. Excuse me. So I used to use the I used to use the extensions. I used to use the extensions on the vacuum cleaner and pretend that they were swords. And I would be in my room fighting and pretending I was a Power Ranger. And one time I got a little over aggressive and put a hole in the wall doing just that. So, yeah, I told you I was a diehard Power Rangers fan, man. I literally would pull up the episode would come on, I would get the attachments to the vacuum cleaner, and I would practice the fight moves along with the Power Ranger. I knew I was gonna grow up to be a Power Ranger, okay? I knew it was my destiny until I put that hole in the wall and my mom beat my ass. So
I was gonna say, did you get your ass beat for that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely. You know how much money it costs to get that shit fixed? Anyways, moving on before any more embarrassing stories come up. All right.
I just got a 6-pack, dog.
So, guys, we went to the movies this past week or past weekend, I should say. And what did we see? We saw John Wick 4.
Mr.
Mr. Wick. So we are going to talk about this movie. First, we are going to talk about it from a, what is it? I said unspoiled, but there's an official spoiler free. That's what I was looking for. So first, we're going to give the spoiler free review. So we won't give any details. And then maybe towards the end, we will talk about it in a spoiled capacity, but we'll make sure to alert everyone so that you're aware. I want to get some quick.
Stick around after for Ryan and I's topics because I need audience participation in mind. So
there you go.
Go on mute. We'll put a. You want to explain the icon on the screen?
Yeah. So as we're talking through this, you'll see some letter grades pop up as we talk about different aspects of the movie. But towards the end, when you see the spoiler alert icon sitting over top of the movie poster, that will be your cue to know that we may be talking about it from a spoiled capacity. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want anything ruined for you, please put yourself on mute until you see that spoiler alert symbol go away. So thanks for that, Nick. All right, so let's get started. So initial thoughts, like maybe 1 to 2 sentences from each one of you on your initial thoughts on the movie. Don't everybody speak at once.
Y'all ain't gonna like mine. You go first, Ryan.
Okay.
What? Oh, the movie? I loved it. You didn't like it?
I liked it. I didn't love it.
Okay.
It was good, not great.
Okay.
I think it's starting to like be overdone a little bit. Like
I'm glad you
not all that much really happened like in the plot. Like the fight scenes were really drawn out. Like the fight scene at the beginning in the hotel was very cool. Really enjoyed that one. But all the ones after that, I literally found myself being like, okay. Like the one on the stairs, thought that shit was never gonna end, bro. I was like, how many times did he go up and down those stairs? Even when he was falling, I looked at Pedro and I was like, is this a joke? Like, what is going on? So good. It's still a John Wick movie. Still go see it. I would recommend it in IMAX. We saw it in IMAX. It was great, but don't expect like the meat on the plot of like 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
It relies heavily on the action.
I think I can agree with you on that. And there's actually something I want to talk about that I think will be pretty interesting in something you mentioned. So, but I appreciate you guys' take on this. So we'll get started. So the first thing we're actually going to talk about, Nick, and you mentioned it yourself, is the plot. For me, I give the overall plot, actually, I'm going to give it an A-. When I really think about it, because of some of the things that Nick mentioned. So, John Wick, I will give many accolades, and consistency is definitely one of them. I will, however, say that if you really do think about it, the plot for 4 is very much the same plot for 3. And the plot from 3 is basically a minor detour from the plot from 2. In which we all know the plot from 2 is a direct continuation of the plot from 1. So I think Nick kind of alluded to it a little bit. All in all, the plots are the same. I'm not necessarily saying that that's a bad thing for this movie because I do think it did what it did well. But that's basically why it kind of gets an A- from me. Like, I do tend to agree with you that there's not much really going on there outside of, anything that we've already seen as it relates to the plot. So next we are going to talk about the acting grade. So overall for that, I think I give it an A. You got Keanu Reeves, of course, who I feel like in all of these movies is a man of few words. And in 4, it's very much the same. He doesn't really say a lot, but what he lacks in verbal communication, he definitely makes up for by communicating with a hellfire of bullets everywhere. So
with his fists.
And with his fists. So he definitely plays the part very well. You got Bill Skarsgård in this movie. He is the movie's villain. That's not any spoiler alert there. It was clear from the trailers. Not as extreme as his villainous role in It, obviously. But I do think it's still terrifying in the fact that this is now the 4th time that we have somebody that thinks they're playing chess and John Wick is playing checkers. You would think at some point people would realize that they're not like smarter than this man and they're not going to outwit him. But nonetheless, exactly. Once again, they couldn't be more wrong. And I think Bill Skarsgård does a great job of playing the role of the villain in this movie. We also have newcomer, one of my favorite actors out there, in Donnie Yen, who plays a pretty significant role in this movie. I've been a huge fan of his since he killed it in the Ip Man series. Some of my favorite, martial arts movies out there. And I definitely think he brings his awesomeness and his martial arts skills really to the forefront in this movie as well. So overall,
Don't forget Rogue One.
Oh, Rogue One. I did forget about Rogue. It's hard to remember.
I forgot about him.
It's hard to remember everything that is like Star Wars, right? Because there's so much that they're coming out with that kind of dilutes that. But yeah, he did a fantastic job in Rogue One as well. So, there of course are other people in the movie who have been there before. But overall, I feel like from an acting perspective, they did a pretty good job with like the actors and actresses that they picked for this particular movie. So. All right, moving on. The next thing we are going to talk about is the action. I would give this an A+++ if I could. I know Nick apparently disagrees with me, but what can I say about the action in this movie other than I am really fucking impressed? I always appreciate movies that can take what they do very well and then continue to find ways to make it unique and elevate it. Nick, I can agree with you to an extent that some of the fight scenes are really long. It's a long movie in general. It's 3 hours long. But I didn't think that it disappointed in the pacing of the storytelling versus the action sequences. And there were some really cool things that they did in this movie that they haven't done in any of the other movies. The one thing I'm particularly thinking about, without spoiling anything, is the scene that we compared to like playing Siege, right? And like you see John Wick in the house and certain things that he's doing. Like that was one of the coolest, fight scenes that I've seen. So I think overall, the action sequences in this movie are phenomenal. Ryan, you look like you got something you want to say.
No, that was just so theatrical, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, that was so theatrical, dog. Like, I loved it. Whoever thought about that idea? You ever think about being a movie producer and it's like, man, what can I do just to like throw something at the audience that would just have them like, oh my god? And that was it. That was it for me, man. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. I was like, damn, that's one of my favorite parts of this movie, dog.
I'll give it to you
again.
Yeah. I'll give it to you. It was awesome. It was awesome that he was using the Dragon's Breath rounds and you were literally like watching him. It was a continuous shot for like, I don't know, however many minutes you're watching him go through this whole thing. It was very, very impressive. I will give you that. It reminded me of, did y'all ever play those Hotline Miami games?
I did not.
No, Ryan, I know you didn't. Justin, you're a PC gamer. You should have. They're top down, they're top-down action shooter games. So you have that perspective where you're going through houses and rooms and shooting people, and you're like turning around in different directions and blasting. That's what it reminded me of more than Siege. But either way, I was very impressed by that.
I'll give you that one. You mentioning that, actually, there was a John Wick game that they came out with that was a top-down, turn-based game that I think is very similar. I think they might have taken some cues from that, now that I think about it. I did play the game. I didn't play it for long because it just really wasn't my cup of tea. But now that I'm thinking about that John Wick game, it was a top-down, turn-based shooter. And I think the scene that we're talking about really took some elements from that. So that's pretty cool that they kind of connected to that. I didn't even think about it until you mentioned it, Nick.
Yeah. So I won't argue with you on the action. I mean, the action was, it's top notch. You're not going to beat it. I just think they relied on it too much. Is all.
Okay. I can understand that.
I feel like they had to. I know it's kind of
a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, I feel like they had to, man. It's number 4. It's the 4th movie. Like, think about it. Like, that's what Fast and Furious does. Like, they literally rely on all the action, all the bullshit that you could throw in a movie. Fast and Furious does it. So I mean, like, I'm not gonna fill up my movie with bullshit. I'm gonna fill up my movie with like actual quality action. So
we're gonna get to the Fast and Furious comparison. I actually wanted to talk about that in detail, but so we've talked about the plot, we've talked about the acting, we talked about the action sequences. So what do I give this movie overall? And overall, I think I give it an A. It was a really solid movie. It wasn't my personal favorite of the John Wick series. I think John Wick 2 will always hold a special place in my heart. But I I feel like it does the things that it does very well. There's a saying out there, when someone does something well, it's like, hey, they understood the assignment. And I can honestly say from like start to finish, from top to bottom, I feel like they understood the goddamn assignment for this movie. So, and I think, critics will tend to agree with us. So right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting with a 94% critic score and a 95% audience score. So I think my overall grade of an A is right in alignment with that movie. It's not the greatest movie that I've ever seen, but it is a pretty awesome action movie overall.
Sure.
Nod your head.
Yeah, I'll agree.
All right.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think I'm kind of getting into that same mentality that I was talking about with the Marvel movies, where they've continued to set the bar so high that if one like doesn't quite meet, you find yourself walking away kind of like meh. But like taking it away from the other three, fucking awesome movie.
Okay.
Give it to you.
Love it.
Give it to you.
All right.
I agree with you. Right. So
Here comes the spoiler alert. So as you can see, it is popping up on the screen and it will stay up while we're talking about some of the more intricate details of the movie. So if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want it to be spoiled for you, please put yourself on mute until you see the spoiler alert symbol go away. So let's talk about the John Wick series as a whole. And I think we've kind of got into it just a little bit. So when you think about 1 through 4, the entire, kind of sequence of these movies, like whatever your overall thoughts, like taking all of them into consideration.
I think they could be royalty when it comes to like action franchises.
Okay.
You have great action franchises, and John Wick, I think, deserves a seat at that table. Like, like you said, start to finish, action, plot, special effects, cinematography, everything. Like, if for an action movie, he fucking killed it. Starts at the beginning with him trying to get out of the life, and every time he tries to get out, he just gets pulled further and further back in.
Yep.
And then obviously at the end, it wraps up with his death. I still don't know if I believe that he's actually dead or not. I think they reserved it for a comeback, maybe in a movie or two. But overall, action movie royalty.
Yeah.
What do you think? You said that it deserves a seat at the table. Is it at the head of the table?
I love all these references to like things in the movie, right? Like the whole movie,
right
the
there,
head of the
like
table.
That shit, right?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't think I think it would get into a debate about what constitutes like an action movie versus drama movie.
Mm-hmm.
Rambo comes to mind as like probably the greatest if I like had to choose one, but like I don't know. I would probably watch John Wick over Rambo personally, but if you're taking overall into account, like I don't know. What are your thoughts?
For me, it's hard to make a decision on that because, like with so many things, like time is a very important factor. These movies are current, and I think the last like Rambo movie came out maybe a couple years ago, but the majority of them, are from a way earlier time where special effects are different, where, there's not as much that they can do from a technology standpoint. So I hate comparing movies across different decades in certain instances because it's like you can't really compare because like let's take Rambo and what it was, and let's say the very first movie was releasing today, like who knows how it would stack up against like the John Wick series. But I will say I do agree that it definitely sits at the table as one of the greatest action franchises of all time. Yeah. I will say I am in agreement with Nick in terms of like we're getting to a point now where it's like, all right, like what more can you do? I personally, as much as I don't want it to end, I think it needs to end with 4. Because it's just like, where else are you going to go? And like, what else are you going to do? And as you mentioned earlier, which is something I wanted to talk about, are we getting into the Fast and Furious territory where it's just like, you're releasing movies and it's like every movie you got to find a way to one up yourself, and you're getting to a point where you're falling flat, like, because it's like, you're honestly oversaturating the market with Fast and Furious movies. I think John Wick hasn't gotten to that point, but if they decide to continue making these movies and coming out with the same thing over and over and over again, then yeah, we're going to eventually get to that point of like, all right, like, you've seen one, you've seen them all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Quit while you're ahead. Quit while they're good.
Yep. And honestly, And honestly, based off the ending, I do think that they're in alignment with us on that, because I think they left it open to where if they wanted to come back, they could. But I also feel like they very much were like, if we want to close the book on this officially, like, we can. And that would be the route that I want them to go. Like, your fourth movie, all your movies have been like 85% or above rated by critics. Your fourth movie is actually the highest rated one, sitting at 94%. End on top, man. Like, don't even run the risk of like spoiling, the overall franchise, like ruining that. End that shit on top.
I mean, there's nothing else I'm not gonna say there's nothing else you can really do about it. But I mean, think about it. You quote unquote killed him off, and Nick, there's like maybe 15% chance that, I believe, honestly. I think he's actually dead. But there's like I don't know, you killed him off. What else are you gonna do? You can't say he has a kid, right? Like, what are you gonna say? He has a kid? No. His dog. You gonna make a movie about his fucking dog? Or maybe he becomes a new John Wick or some shit. Like, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that was my thought too when we were. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
You good. You good. That was it.
I was gonna say that was my thought too. Is like, okay, well, how do you continue this? Fast and Furious has got into this cycle now where they just make the villain from the last movie. They just add them to the crew, and they just make up a new villain. And so, like, they can kill people off, or people can come in and out of the franchise as they want, and they still have this like core group of people. Just because they keep recycling actors from the last one. John Wick doesn't do that. He kills all the villains. Everybody dead.
Everybody dies.
Nobody lives. Dog.
Everybody dies. Nick, you made such a good point. Like, when we walked out of the movie, you were like, John Wick at this point has killed close to probably like 1,000 people, right? I don't know the actual number, but it's like, you would think if you were like number 999, you'd realize, like, bro, I'm not that fucking guy. Like, I'm not going to be the one that's going to get the lucky bullet to kill John Wick. Like, at this point, fucking stop. Dude, I'm telling you, the moment I saw him blast one of my friend's assholes wide open with a fucking dragon breath round, it's a wrap, dog. I'm walking out the fucking house. Like, I quit, bro. No amount of money is worth this shit, dog.
No, bro. It's even worse. You look at the fucking bounty board, and his number keeps going.
Keeps
up.
going.
Like, what am I supposed to do with this shit, bro? Hey, I'm getting number 2. That
Give me number 2, dog.
Let
me get 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, but not number 1. I have not taken number 1. John Wick can stay up there, bro. Wherever he's at, I'm going to the opposite side, okay?
The opposite way, dog.
I don't want to be anywhere near that carnage.
Every one of those people were like, I'm that dude.
I got it, bro. Money in the bag. Let's kind of wrap this up. Favorite scene from the movie. I'm interested to hear everybody's favorite scene.
Oh, the house scene.
Okay. Yep. That's up there for sure.
Can't beat it.
Really? I give you that. My favorite scene. I didn't mean to cut you off, Nick. My bad.
No, you're good. Yeah, I'm good.
My favorite scene was the roundabout. Because that motherfucker got hit by. This is what pissed me off about it. John let off a whole fucking magazine that this motherfucker got hit in the car. He's flipping in the air. John's like, I'm like, what was the point of that, bro? But that shit had me rolling. I was laughing fucking hard, dog.
Have you ever noticed?
So pointless.
Have you ever noticed how many times this guy like wastes bullets? Like, it's like, bro, you already shot him in the head. Like, he's not getting up, and here he goes, just like pulling the mag, getting it ready, and just popping them again. I'm like, bro, save your bullet. Like, where do all these fucking bullets come from? That was, I think those two scenes really stand out. But for me, my favorite scene when he was whooping ass with them nunchucks, dog. Like, and that's what I mean about them doing something fresh. We haven't really, like, we've seen them use knives, we've seen them use guns, but that's pretty much about it. But like, this man, and what was so funny about it, when he first grabbed them and was using them, I was like, he doesn't look like he knows how to use nunchucks at all. But then next thing you know, it was like he got his, like, maybe he just needed to like warm up or something. But when he put old dude's head on the table and was just whapping his ass over and over again, I was just like, bro, this man is a fucking menace, dog. Like, I'm like, nowhere, like John Wick, like, if he's in the room, I'm leaving immediately. I don't care if he's there for a friendly visit, whatever, because carnage is about to ensue with this man. But that was my personal favorite scene. So
wait, that raises one more question though. Okay. What is your favorite kill in the whole series?
Oh, I already know. When John Wick 2, this is why it's my favorite movie. When he's in the catacombs and he has that fucking shotgun and he runs out of like shells in it, but he's got the one that's like on the side of the chamber for like the tactical reload, and he literally pushes it into the guy so he can reload it and then pops that man's head off. I'm like, dog, hands down one of the best kills in the movie, in the entire franchise, bro. It is why that movie is like my favorite movie of all time. That catacomb scene alone was just amazing.
Ryan?
I would actually, you know what, even though I still like 3, I still think 3 is my favorite one. I'll go back to 2 because when he fought Cassian, that shit was sick.
It was.
In the train.
Yeah.
And it was literally like, that knife is in your heart. If you pull it out, you're gonna, okay, if I leave it in, I'm gonna die, but still, it's all good. Like, fuck it. But that was a dope ass scene to me. It was just
My favorite one, just because it's funny as shit, is in number 3 when he kills a dude with a book.
Oh yeah,
that
dude was big as shit. Yeah.
In the library.
He puts it in his mouth. He punches the shit out of the book, and then he drags the dude over to a library table, puts the book up, head over.
He breaks his neck.
Breaks his
It's
neck
just
over
like, what the fuck?
with a book.
What made that scene 10 times better was when the dude shows up, John's like, yo, I got 15 minutes. And he's like, who's going to know the difference? And he's like, I'm going to know the difference. And okay, I'm going to show you. And he whooped his ass with that book. Like, it's just like everybody thinks they're that fucking guy, and they're not, bro.
Yeah.
They're insane. But yeah, overall, like, love these action movies. I've seen out of the corner of my eye a ton of like chatter in the chat. So let's see what people got to say.
Yeah. All right, take the icon off.
I'll leave it up just for now because somebody may have like spoiled something in the chat. I don't want to ruin anything for
I don't
anybody.
think they didn't.
Okay.
We're good. A lot of people are agreeing. Despair says I was right about the stairs because that scene lasted way longer than it should have. Beast Boy says, "What about a pencil? Isn't it number?" So they referenced it in number 1, but isn't number 2?
He does it in
like,
number
kills
2.
all the
Yeah,
dudes?
he kills 2 people with a pencil when he's like, when they first put out the contract on him, he's trying to get back to New York. He does actually kill 2 people with a pencil. And it is a pretty cool scene because you can literally see like the brain matter like on the pencil after he stabs the guy's head with it. It was pretty intense. So the stairs scene. So here, interesting thing about the stairs scene in the 4th one. I feel like that was their take on like almost being like self-aware about these movies. Like, you know how like in the last Fast and Furious movie, like they make a couple references to like, you know, we've been touched by the hands of God. Like, how have we not died yet? I feel like the stairs scene was very much them doing that in this movie. My man falls all the way down the stairs. Once he gets to
All
the
the way
end,
down.
once
He falls
he gets
for like
to
a
the
whole
end,
minute, dude.
Yeah, once he gets to the end, his home and that fall was very dramatic. Like, bro, you're John Wick, you can stop. But once he
That
gets to the
motherfucker ain't
end,
grab no rail, no nothing, dog.
nothing. And he gets all the way to the bottom. He gets all the way to the bottom, and my man is like, how much time you got? And he's like, oh, about 2 or 3 minutes. And he's like, I guess we better get you up these stairs then. And you mean to tell me that man makes it all the way back up the stairs in 2 to 3 when it took him 15 minutes the first time? Like, I feel like that was their subtle way of saying, like, yes, we know this is ridiculous, but we're gonna fucking do it anyway because it's John Wick and it's John Wick 4. So
the whole scene was like 10 minutes extra when
it
he
was.
tried to get back up the fucking stairs. I was saying I counted in my head. There's no way. Did anybody else? You know how when it's game over in Mario, and you get anybody else kept playing that in their head when that motherfucker was tumbling down the stairs?
No, I was just like, I was just like, there's no way he's gonna fall all the way down. But no, he did absolutely.
That motherfucker was falling,
I'm like,
bro.
here's one. Oh no, he's gonna keep on going. Here's what I was thinking about during that scene. I would be exhausted just walking up those stairs.
Absolutely.
This man fought all night long, literally all fucking night. Fought up the stairs like 3 times. And I was just thinking, if I just ran up these stairs, I'd be fucking done for.
And he had to dodge
He was good to
bullets,
go.
dodging motherfuckers trying to stab his ass. He's doing all this shit, bro,
Oh.
and then gets knocked down. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just want to be like, you know what? Hey, you short, bro. You ain't getting your hug. You ain't getting the Continental back in New. And I guess I'm gonna die when I get up these stairs, dog. So I'm about to take my happy-go-lucky ass time. Fuck it.
You're right. And I mean, you think about it, we like fawned over like the physique of Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors in Creed 3. But honestly, like, let's see what John Wick looks like, right? Like, my man's got to be in some of the best shape of his life. I mean, he literally fought for hours and like didn't miss a beat. So it's insane. He's got to be in some of the best shape. So anything else going on in the chat?
Despair says, enjoy Bill Skarsgård as an actor, but the accent didn't do it for me. I thought that accent was hilarious. The French ass accent, the whole movie,
Yeah.
just being an asshole.
I feel like it was
I thought
pretty.
it
It
was
was
hilarious.
over the top for probably on purpose. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, probably. But he killed it. I mean, he's always super creepy in everything that he does.
he very much.
Elroy says, drone fighting scene was crazy. I don't remember a drone fighting scene.
Drone fighting.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't remember
Drone.
drone. I think you might be in the wrong movie, big dog. I don't remember no drones. Maybe elaborate on that. We'll come back to it.
Beast Boy says, for family.
For family. Fast and
Is it
Furious.
family?
For family.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 50% of his dialogue in those movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's like
kill them all.
75% of his dialogue, dog.
and he's like every time he talks, he's like struggling to get his words out. It's like I thinking I'm back.
You sound just like
it.
it.
This shit, bro.
Oh man.
Despair says second movie bus scene. She was like, "Damn, yeah." So she agrees as well.
Yep.
So
Cool, good stuff. All right, I feel like we have beat John Wick to death, but not really because he can't be killed.
Pun intended.
So, pun intended. All right, so we're gonna move on to our next topic. So Nick, what you got for us, man?
So I think actually, because we had so much fun with John Wick, I want to reserve mine for next time,
Okay.
so we can spend a little bit more time on it,
Sounds
and I
good.
will cede my time to Ryan.
All right,
Talk
sounds
about
good.
his
That's cool,
anime.
man. That's cool. We'll make it quick because we burnt a lot of time with John Wick, but I felt like it was one of my favorite animes. Y'all ready for it?
Yep.
You don't have to be because I'm gonna say it anyway.
I already
Rurouni
knew this.
Kenshin, man.
Okay.
It's amazing. I love Rurouni Kenshin. And they are making a remake. It is coming out in my birthday month. I felt like this was made especially for me
There
because
you
it's
go.
coming back in July. And it's funny, I was talking to my wife about this earlier. I don't get a lot of like good movies or a lot of good TV shows in the month of July for my birthday. So I have to resort to other things to like make me happy throughout my birthday. And this is one of them, man. Finally. I'm so excited for this for this TV show. So a lot of people are starting to do remakes. It's kind of odd, but I'm starting to like some of them. Like recently, I watched Trigun, and I don't remember Trigun like the original Trigun, but I watched this one, and I enjoyed it. And I think it's on the hiatus for the second season, the way it ended this one. But I'm super excited for it. I love it, and I'm hoping they do the same thing for Kenshin. For those of you who don't know, Kenshin, aka Batosai the Manslayer, aka Hitokiri Batosai, like dog. This is my dog. He's an assassin turned wanderer, basically. Long story short, he hangs up his like murder sword, I guess, for lack of a better term, to try to instill peace, just be like a regular person. And of course, it's like John Wick. Some people try to like pull him back into it and all this stuff. They want to see Batosai the Manslayers. It's a great series. I feel like you guys will like it if you actually did look at it. Season 1 and 2 was great. I didn't really enjoy the third season as much because I started adding in like religion and stuff like that. But I'm interested to see how they're going to pull this one back as far as like a remake. Like, are they just going to like stop at 1 and 2? They had a couple of movies. In one of the last movies, he actually dies. Spoiler alert, my bad. But yeah, like if you actually, I'd love to watch it with you guys and just see y'all's take on it. It started anime from
Yeah.
It came out in Shonen Jump. Crazy how I didn't realize Shonen Jump was like super early. But Shonen Jump, it came out in Shonen Jump like 94. Anime came out in 96, and then we got it in 2003.
Okay.
Over here. So yeah. And I loved it, man. Showed up on Toonami just like everything else did for us, and it was awesome, man. I loved it. I feel like it's a great anime. It's a great starter anime for what it is because it's not, like I said, 3 seasons and a few movies. That's about that, man. I'm super excited for it. Like I said, it's going to show up live this year, so I'm super excited.
I have a question for you that's not specific, I guess for both of you, that's not specifically related to this, but it's like adjacent related. You're talking about, so they're remaking it. So it's not like a continuation. It's not going to be a season 4. It's essentially going to be season 1. And you said this aired in 2003.
For us, it came out in 2003.
Okay, so we're talking 20 years, I guess, is maybe a significant amount of time. But I feel like we're in this like era where we're like remaking everything. And I feel like there are some things that are getting remade like way too frequently. And it's just like we haven't even like really been able to forget like the last one that came out. And here we are getting like a remake. So I'm just curious on your thoughts on like that overall. Do you like feel the same? Are you like excited about all the remakes? Like, what are your thoughts?
So it's kind of like this. Sometimes when it ends on a good note, just let it go, right? I'm all about that. Like if it was good back then, stay back then. What's gonna piss me off the most is like when you're starting to get like these like staple animes. Like we're not even gonna talk about Dragon Ball. I want to talk about like things like Yu Yu Hakusho. If you tell me you're gonna bring back Yu Yu Hakusho, I'm not gonna watch it. Because Yu Yu Hakusho was one of those animes where it's like super duper good to the point where it's like it's over, it ended, don't try to remake it. And I get it, like you have like different things like animation style to make it look good now. Like anime now looks great. You see a whole bunch of like anime studios like literally putting their heart and soul into it, like Mappa for example. They're putting their heart and soul in like any anime produced now. That's why it takes so long. That's why it takes so much money to make some of these anime. I get it. You have the technology now. You have the resources. But let some things rest, man. That's my thing. Trigun was good. There's a whole like different anime style from the original. That's fine. It looks like Kenshin is going to be not the style. You could tell it's updated. But some of the other animes, please just let it stay back. Stay back in the past, man. Yu Yu Hakusho, if you remake that, I'm not. I promise you. I'm just not. So.
All right, Nick, what are your thoughts? And this isn't specific to just anime; it's just like in general, like remakes. Like,
I have mixed feelings. It's one of those things where it's like, I know they're just doing it because they know they can like make good money off it. Like I would say a very, very small percentage of these are doing it because they actually care about the source material. And if the source material is good, I'm getting to the point where I like don't really want it to be remade. Like I watched the live, like for example, I watched the live action Cowboy Bebop, and I was like, oh, this is really good. And everyone was like, oh, if you like that, you should watch the original anime. So I went back and watched it, and I was like, I like this more. If I had watched this first, I probably wouldn't have been as jazzed about the live action as good as it was. So it's like there are certain things that I know are going to get remade eventually, like Lord of the Rings is going to get remade at some point, and I'm not going to be happy about it because I know it's not going to be good enough for me because I'm not 12 years old or wherever I was when it came. You know, I'm not that same person that I was. So like, It's never going to hit the same way. I think overall, I enjoy certain remakes, but it's definitely being done too much.
Okay.
And it's being done so much because we continue to go see them. So like, I'm very much a part of the problem. Like I'm going to see all this stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's easy. And I worry that pop culture in general is running out of original ideas for movies and TV shows.
Yeah. Well, a couple of things. So first things first, just an interesting take. I actually enjoyed the live action Cowboy Bebop more than the anime. And I watched the anime for the first time right before the show came, like the live action. So I saw them both very close together. But I think for me, it was, again, a time thing. Like Cowboy Bebop, I think is early 90s, like anime. Like it just wasn't my style. It's just like, it just felt out of time for me, out of place and out of time. So that's first point. Second point, it's an interesting take you say about like pop culture and running out of original ideas. But when you really think about it, like, I mean, in the history of like everything, like eventually it had to happen, right? Like there's only like so much shit you can come up with. So I'm not surprised that like they're recycling like ideas from the past, and I'm fine with it as long as you do it right and as long as there's a significant amount of time that passes between it, right? Like we shouldn't be getting remakes of stuff like 5 or 10 years later. Like I think that's a little too soon. I will say, sure, an area that I think has done very well. There have been some bombs here or there, but for the most part, the remakes of video games, and I'm not talking about like remasters where they're like remastering the game. I'm talking about like where they're actually going in and they're like taking the source material, but they're remaking it honestly into its own thing. The Resident Evil games, for example, they remade like 2, 3, and 4, and that literally like they are not the same game. And so I appreciate that. I hope there's a lot more that they're gonna do with those games, and I think that's a very good area that people can like really dive into. But like movies and TV shows, if it's like 5 or 10 years old, like leave it alone. Like we don't need a remake every couple of years on this stuff. Like you're just like oversaturating it at that point. So
You
I agree.
appreciate the remakes, Justin?
I do. I really appreciate the remakes.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4, you appreciate that one, huh?
I haven't played it yet, but yes, I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I know you ain't fucking played it yet, Justin. No, you ain't played this shit. Appreciate that.
For everybody in the chat.
I watched our buddy Default Dude 22. Check him out on Twitch. He streams Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, man,
if
he
you're
streams that
interested.
shit. Yeah,
I
go
was
flood
watching
his
him play
channel.
it
Follow
last
his
night.
shit.
I'm sorry
yeah.
that I have life and that life has gotten in the way and I have not been able to stream the game that came out a week ago, Ryan. I apologize, okay? I promise I will stream it soon. Probably not tonight, because we'll be playing Siege and Apex, but I will definitely, I will stream it for you, big dog. I promise, so.
Yeah, all right. I will tell you, Final Fantasy VII Remake, since you were talking about remakes.
You cut out. What'd you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. Final Fantasy VII was a very good remake since you was talking about remaking games and stuff like that. So I highly encourage anybody to play it. If I'm not mistaken, if you have a premium PlayStation, I think it's there, and Retrograde is there, which is like the small DLC basically. That wasn't really a DLC, but anyway, pretty awesome. It's a very good game. That was a very well done remake. So yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that covers our show for today. Anybody, let's check the chat one last time, see if people have any topics on the anime or remakes. I saw some chitter chatter going through there. So,
yeah, Despair, our resident anime nerd alongside Ryan, says Rurouni's OVAs left me in tears.
OVAs.
Yes,
OVA.
bro.
What's
Yeah,
that?
so sad. I forgot.
OVA is it's like original video animation something. It's basically like just consider it like deleted episodes, like deleted scenes almost. Like episodes that they made that they didn't release. It may or may not, like, I think for the most part they're not canon because they didn't release them, but they give you like kind of different insight and perspective into the show. It usually, if they do them, they're only like sub. I don't even think they do dubbed OVAs. I've never watched one. So it's almost like just deleted episodes, extra content essentially. So
yeah.
Fair enough. And she said she has reservations about. I think that she put that in there when you were talking about the movie or the remake, I should say. So she said she has reservations as well.
I mean, again, like at the end of the day, I trust it because it's one of my favorite animes. Like I said, that's kind of started anime for me. Mine is like Pokemon, Digimon, Metabots, all that stuff. Like stuff that you could watch on TV. When Kenshin came, that was kind of like the first one where I'm like, oh my god. So I hope it turns out well. Will it? Like I said, when you try to remake, some people can do it right. Like I like Trigun, and then some people can do it right. It's like, let's find out and see what's up. So
time will tell, huh?
Beast Boy says, if anything, just reanimate it. I agree. I happened to notice when we were in the theater that they're bringing some of the Studio Ghibli movies back.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Shoot, it's been a long Monday. But Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke, all those are coming back. And I saw a clip on Instagram that looked like they may have like remastered the animation. Like it looked really, really good. Somebody said it might have been an AI that did it and it wasn't actually what they're going to look like. Either way, I'd like to go check them out because I know at least a couple of the viewers in the chat are big Studio Ghibli fans as well. So it'll be interesting to see. That's all I got.
Good stuff. All right. Well, that is our show for the day. Once again, don't forget to hit that follow button if you haven't on Twitch. We air, spoiler alert, every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Also, please follow us on Twitter as well as YouTube at Spoiler Alert for You. Again, that's at Spoiler Alert, the number 4 and the number U. The letter U. If we spoiled something for you, sorry, not sorry, because we're just talking about the things that we love. Spoiler alert, we do love all of you, and we will see you all next week.
Appreciate y'all, chat. We love you, man. We're going
Later, y'all.
Later.